Good afternoon. In my last class with you on Aurobindo's Perseus the Deliverer, I gave you a very brief preview of the plot sequence of the play and also gave you an idea as to the original Greek legend of Perseus and the ways and means in which Aurobindo departed from the original legend. And I also asserted that Aurobindo's departure from the legend was a deliberately crafted artistic ploy to put forth a different message of human evolution that most of Sri Aurobindo's philosophy rests on. In today's class, I'll be focusing on a very important aspect of Sri Aurobindo's Perseus the Deliverer, and that aspect is his art of characterization. In the last class, I hinted that Sri Aurobindo built up an elaborate scheme of symbols which acted as platforms of, in a sense, an exposition of his philosophy of evolution. And to that extent, most of the characters in Perseus the Deliverer are actually Sri Aurobindo's vehicles in order to portray his collective vision of human evolution. One important aspect of the characters in Perseus the Deliverer is that the characters are arranged and stated in the play in terms of their awareness or proximity to either light or darkness. Athene, for example, stands for the light of reason, whereas Poseidon, the cruel sea god and his priest, stands behind dark and soulless ritual, which apparently appears inhuman to us. Perseus, being semi-divine, semi-human, is the bringer of light in an otherwise dark society. He is happy that he is warm in Syria after roaming the vast, cold northern regions. At the human level, Andromeda is closest to the new consciousness that transforms a weak, tender girl, a protected daughter of a king, a privileged daughter of a king, into an apostle of compassion and humanity. Hence, in a sense, she is the only character to be spiritually altered in the play with a great deal of significance and starkness. She and Perseus usher in a new age in Syria and a new ideal of universal humanism, which was so close to Sri Aurobindo's philosophy of spiritual evolution. Iolaus, the prince, represents progressive humanity, which is occasionally weighed down by the burden of the past. Perseus' adversary in the play, Polydion, the priest of Poseidon, embodies all that seeks to pull down and arrest human progress in spiritual terms. Essentially, Sri Aurobindo's characterization focuses on these two extremes, but nevertheless there are characters in the play who are not very active in the sense that we understand active characters to be, who are just between the two extremes. They are just sane, ordinary, rational human beings who are very often led by major active characters and essentially do not have a voice, but they do have a role because at the end of the play they are the ones who experience the greatest thrill of a higher spiritual order that Perseus sets in. One important point about Sri Aurobindo's skill in characterization, as I understand in Perseus the Deliverer, is the deliberate ploy of the use of the principle of transformation. And most characters in the play move from one order of perception to another. They may not be changed physically, but their perceptions do change at the end of the play. And one can detect a pattern in their dramatic development. In fact, if I am to judge the levels of transformation that the characters undergo in this particular play, we find that there are two sorts of transformations. One is a transformation into light, into spiritual progress only for those characters who are transformable, and the other is a transformation into lifelessness or stone for characters who are beyond transformation. The priest of Poseidon, for example. Even tradition bound characters like the king or his queen, the robust butcher, they register a progress towards some perception of light. Phineas, on the other hand, has been throughout the play progressive, occasionally rational, cynical, and even atheistic. Even he progresses at the end of the play, as we see that his atheism somehow yields its place to a very, very firm, though light, perception of human evolution. Ironically, at the end of the play, Perseus changes Poseidon as well by transforming him into a stone, exposing him to Gorgon's head, merely because, for Sri Aurobindo, Poseidon was a character who was beyond transformation and had essentially no role in human society. So this starkness of message is something which is very, very powerfully focused in Perseus the Deliverer. I don't find this particular point highlighted in the other plays of Sri Aurobindo. It's either the society evolves collectively, there will be people in the society who would be exceptions to the evolution. For some reason or the other, they would not be a burden to the society anymore. They would be lifeless. In this case, as it is, the head of a gorgon becoming a vehicle for Poseidon's transformation into lifelessness. So what we have as an art of characterization, if I may call it, with regard to Sri Aurobindo, is an art that is deliberate, that is true to his philosophy of collective human evolution, the philosophy that is highlighted so very powerfully in his epic Savitri. But essentially, this play is also about a very serious attempt by Sri Aurobindo to correlate legends or myths and establish their relevance in contemporary human society, contemporary human living, contemporary human standards of thought, contemporary human levels of consciousness, and also as a means of exploring the ways and means in which human beings as a collective race face resistance. The resistance are by no means simple resistances. They are very, very powerful, sometimes requiring intervention of a semi-divine figure such as Perseus in order that the resistance is overcome. But nevertheless, beneath all this lies Sri Aurobindo's concern with spiritual human progress. And this progress is essentially an evolution which is highlighted in this play, for example, most starkly in the ways in which the commoners in Celia celebrate a changed society at the end when the priest of Poseidon is no more. Poseidon has receded beyond any level of influence. Andromeda is free and is apparently to be married to Perseus the Deliverer, and a sense of peace descends into the kingdom among people who are realizing that the society has changed spiritually for the better. So there is something which is very, very deliberate in Sri Aurobindo's art of characterization in Perseus the Deliverer. In my next class with you, I'll be focusing on another important aspect of this particular play, and that is Sri Aurobindo's use of symbols to highlight common concerns spiritual concerns at that of humanity. Thank you.